it is now the month of what we'd call October, that they call Dirad Fomar, the 7th, on what is Wode's Day. Well, Toe's Day, actually. The 6th, it's the night before. The snows and the winds have been brutal, and snow has accumulated rapidly. There's no way that you could have adventured in the last few days of the previous week. But today, tomorrow and into tonight, there's a thick layer of snow on the ground, but you just have just a reprieve from the snow. But you're certain that this, you can tell that this is gonna come back, and the snow's it's gonna intensify. I don't know if you all saw it, but the survival rules. If you sleep outside in a freezing temperature, even with a fire, it's temporarily -2 hit points. So if you can find a dry place and be warm for more than an hour, you'll get those hit points back. If you don't have a fire, it's temporarily -4 hit points. And you can only get firewood in a town or in a dry place with no precipitation that has occurred recently. So if there's been wet precipitation, there's no firewood that you can find outside unless you find a dry or enclosed place. And you begin the night before, as usual, the Bristleback Inn. And it's packed, as usual. But it's not packed with adventurers. And the ferry has not come for weeks now? A week and a half, 2 weeks. And the last time it came, then no other ferry had came before that for a while. You've heard throughout the week that one of the ferry boats was destroyed, with all hands lost on the river. And no other ferry has come. It seems that the lines of communication for Zelkor's ferry seem cut off. And you also recognize that this place is very crowded. You do see here 2 men that you make out from the crowd. These were probably refugees, but they're armed and have equipment, and they look like they could actually be of use. And then there are all sorts of workers and village people that you see around here all the time. What do you do?
I'll cast Detect Evil.
So I mentioned this last session because as soon as the session started, Caden did the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, we built a church, Inquisition, right away. Like, this is how it works here. So the Inquisition continues. You say your prayers and you call upon the clarity of the light to look into this place. I actually have to check. You don't see... Okay. These 2 people are chaotic.
Right.
I'm getting a lot of those lately.
Yep.
And I don't think you have any other hirelings. I do think you have... I also have bad news about the mercenaries. Because the other group has them right now.
Well, okay. That's fine.
Well, no, that's not true, actually.
They're not my mercenaries.
Yeah, I know, but like when I say the other group has them, I mean literally right now, like they're gone and with them. And so they're not here and you can't... But I'm wrong, I think, actually. I think they, and this is part of why Caden can be here, they actually made multiple turns, and one of them was like a short turn that's going to happen in the future from now. They actually went back and forth from Zelkor's Ferry several times. So actually, I'm going to say the 4 surviving mercenaries are here.
Can they travel in the wilderness? No, this was something that Dan mentioned, but actually they probably don't have a lot of HP, and I don't know. 4 temporary HP might well kill any of them in damage.
If you don't,
Is that something you feel like you want to track or no?
I don't think. I thought they had 5 or 6 HP.
I don't know how much HP they have.
Because they have a hit die. Yeah, they have a hit die. So I was just going to shoot for that average, and I'll say they have 6 hit points. So yeah, I mean, if and this goes for you. If you get out there and you don't have a fire, that's going to be really hairy for anybody.
Right.
Can you restore those with Cure Light Wounds or not?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I was just...
Yeah. You could maybe do it with if you had something that could create a fire. I mean, or...
Okay. Well, if they're usable, we may take them if the plan. Now, this was a suggestion. I didn't get any confirmation from anyone on this, but there is the witchy forest that's marked on. Let's see where this is. It can't be that far up in Otherworld Adventures.
There's a hut there or something,
Jay
right?
posted a little map with the space. They're planning on hitting that kind of crescent moon shaped wood. I guess John, you can tell us a little more about this if you want. Next session on Monday, but there's another spot that they had been hoping to investigate that I guess isn't part of their plan for next week.
Something I may. Is everybody else aware of what's going on with Zelkor's Ferry right now? Heretic and Mike and Scumbag.
I got no idea.
Okay.
Building the cat or the what are those things called? The big missile weapons.
Palisades?
So that is one thing that you all noticed last time before you went on your adventures. You noticed they're building basically siege weapons, and some of them could not be useful defensive siege weapons at the palisade. Like one of them is actually in the middle of the town. And some of his money, Odo's money, is clearly going to that. Caden, could you kind of brief everybody then on what what Odo told you and what's going on here?
Which part? The
basically that
like we told us that we aren't going to survive the winter if we don't we need to expand the Palisades, and to do that, we have to clear out some sections of the forest because there's something out there that wants to destroy the town.
Yep.
So, my thought is we destroy it first. I got money tied up in this town and stuff.
Yeah, we're doing an expedition next Monday to do that. Or to try to do that.
Okay. And so my understanding was that there was more than one spot that possibly had things that needed attention. You guys are going to hit one of them, the bigger one, on Monday, with a bunch of a peasant militia or something. Sounds pretty cool. And there's one other spot that we walked by 6 or so sessions ago, maybe 7 sessions ago, where the trees had tentacles.
Whoa. We didn't get that far in.
We didn't go very far in, but that was kind of why we noped out and went somewhere else. And that place still exists. If you guys are feeling like that could be an interesting place to go and die or not. I can stream the map if you're interested here.
Oh, the group caller is Heretic tonight, I believe. Let me move up Caden here to join you all. Father Bloombad, what's the call for the night. Now, I do have that was the plan from last week, and maybe I can't remember. Maybe I misremembered and was thinking about the first group and got it mixed up or something. But my understanding was that was the plan, anyways.
I mean, I'll go with what the plan was, unless we want to do something different.
All right.
Do we have other leads on things outside the city? Or outside
Real quick, did you want the +1 shield, heretic?
Wouldn't turn it down.
Okay, go ahead and you can have that.
Yeah, and you have plate now, right? Father Bloombad has plate. Nice. What were you saying, Martin?
Do we have any other... Have we been able to gather any other leads from Odo or other people coming back on things that need attention outside the gates?
You could ask him, or Caden, you could tell him, I guess. Yeah. Do you wanna talk to Odo and ask him?
Don't really remember anything else.
Let's ask him.
Okay. All right, so Killick, you go up. Odo has not been at the bar. When you first came here months ago, that's where he was, and he stayed and he worked the inn and stuff. But now he is sort of like a de facto petty lord almost, or a shire reeve or something. And so you find that you have to greet greet Amelia, his plump wife, who leads Isabel and Tally and Gumble, who are the staff here. And you have to go to the back of the tavern, where there have been these mercenaries that have come and gone. They've been acting almost like a police force, which is not something that they were trained to do, but that's what they do now. And also back here is Myrna, who, along with Merrick, he desperately needed the help of to be able to just run the town as sort of like legal, clerical type educated people of that are read. So you see back here Myrna and Merrick in the back of the inn, and Odo, and they're looking at a lot of paperwork. And but he gets up when you knock on the door, and he says, Kellick, how are you doing, lad?
I'm well, Bristleback. Blumbad's planning to stage an expedition out into the wilderness, take care of whatever's left over. What have you heard?
Well, it's funny. I just spoke with Flanagan, and they've got this new man working for him, Seamus. I don't know what to think of him. He seems a bit out for himself. But anyways, I was just telling them the same thing. Things are pretty desperate, I think. There is something in the wilderness southwest of here. I know that that's not very helpful, but it's something that's been there for a long time. And so long as it's there, I'm not going to risk my mercenaries, or workers, or my money. I'm sorry. I've been here long enough. I've seen this sort of thing happen before. It's not worth it.
Just for my clarity, because I wasn't here, is the southwest area that he's telling me about going to end up having been the same one that he told Monday about that they're planning to hit?
He doesn't know.
If I can.
And if you show him like a kind of an improvised map like this, he does point out like you've got this elbow crescent-shaped thing that they have circled there. That's where the Monday group plans to go. So they don't plan to hit that smaller mile-wide portion of trees near the road. But unfortunately, Odo does not know where this is, but he says, I've been here for years, and there's something out there. You know, there used to be travelers and merchants. They had what was called the Old Road. It came east to west. There were people like you that would travel by foot instead of ferry to make it to Rappan Athuk in those days. And there were even some people that tried to settle the forest near here. They set out, they built houses, cottages out on the edge of the wood. And they didn't make it. But I heard things. I heard about cackling inhuman voices from the woods. I heard about eyes in the dark, strange-shaped trees, and the figures of people. I don't know. The other bunch. They asked me if I thought it was goblins. Of course, all the goblins have been cleared out. But no, there's something out there. I'm sorry that I can't be of more help than that. Unless I have proof that that forest is clear of any thinking, conniving menace, I'm not going to have my mercenaries guard this new palisade or this lumber camp.
All right, where is he hoping to establish a lumber camp?
It'll have to be in that main forest, and they'll have to create like a road, and they're gonna have to just truck. Yeah, but they need wood.
What's wrong with the closer forest?
Yeah, I think that one too. But he's not even gonna have his mercenaries outside the walls, like unless this thing is taken care of.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Our best lead may be the Witch Forest. I was kind of hoping to get a little more than that, but
yeah, if I could frame a few
ideas?
options for you, Heretic, I think one would be on that map where it has the blue circle and it says Witchy Forest. The Monday group does not plan to go and investigate that initially. A second option would be to not concern yourself with this and just head to the dungeon. You actually have somebody with you that could lead you to a second level. 2 second levels, 2 different levels. And then you would all have that as kind of something your character owns. And then a third option would be just to like go on an adventure and travel around, although you'll find that it's very different now when you're like losing hit points and you're wet and there are other types of threats, and it's different out there, but you'll see. The other group, I will warn you, I think if I can speak for you, John, I apologize, I don't mean to, but
No, that's fine.
in 2 occasions they got to a point where they were like, this is too much, and they literally gave up and just turned back. So that's part of their whole like peasant militia plan, is they were like, this, it's so hard to travel out here and it's so dangerous that like we need like a logistics train to create something where we can stay warm and stuff. I believe that it would be worth it as a one, like to go directly to something, but it's definitely not like it was where you can just go and spend 4 days out there. And I mean, 4 days you're down, well, 6 hit points right there. So that's assuming nothing goes wrong.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having that knowledge of the dungeon. Does everybody else think?
Yeah,
I'm
I
already
was
flagged
thinking.
for the second floor. I was there when they discovered it.
Oh, I didn't know that. On the stairs?
Yeah. Do you remember the leeches?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Krogan and I were there for that session.
that's right.
Oh, I didn't know. I forgot.
Sorry about that. Yeah, but you haven't seen the other one, the one down the pit. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It would. I will say. I mean, and I usually wouldn't say something like this, but probably trying to help clear that other thing out that they have circled would help the Monday group. But it's totally up to you all. Like, anyways.
Anybody have any strong opinions?
Yeah. Thank you.
I would like to hunt frost giants.
Would like to hunt frost giants? Is that what you said?
Yep. Other than that, I have no strong opinions.
I'm kind of leaning towards the dungeon. Not a strong opinion, but leaning that way.
I wouldn't mind having that knowledge too. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of leaning toward making sure that Zelkor's Ferry gets its problem dealt with, but I don't want to steal Monday's thunder because they've already planned an expedition. If you genuinely think that that's not going to be an issue, Ross, where they're gonna get there and be like, oh, okay, guess this is already more dealt with than we had hoped.
I don't usually like to jump in, but there's so many things coming to a head, and it's all a bit complex to me. Maybe I'm making it complex, but so I will jump in this case, and I'll note that the Witchy Woods there is actually on the way, and it's going to be more than one day. It's going to be well more than one day just to get to the dungeon. So you're going to have to stay somewhere anyway.
So we go to the woods and probably fight wolves, and then we'll have to turn back anyways.
That's
We have the 2 mules in addition to the horses that we could load up with firewood, so I don't think we're going to run out of supplies. It's just going to be a time thing.
I have a mule as well.
I don't know if we get attacked by wolves.
Ross, how much does it cost to get a tauntaun?
And those things smell really bad on the outside. I don't know if you want those.
I'll just say that I can't remember what the price was, but it was not much for firewood. I'll say that for 10 days, it's 5 gold.
I'll strap 10 days worth of firewood to my warhorse for sure.
All right, between your
a lot of firewood. We
2
can spread it around,
mules
man. It's all good.
Is that per person?
Hayden has a mule as well.
It's 10 days for everybody, since you'll be sharing the warmth and benefit of it. Okay. Well, all right. What's the plan, Father Bloombad?
I guess we're gonna go down the old road and hit the Witchy Wood. See what happens.
Do you want to take the mercenaries?
What do you guys think? Be handy if the wolves attack us.
Yeah, they were helpful in the last game.
If they run a risk of suddenly dying, if this runs longer than 3-4 days, I would say no. Otherwise, absolutely.
Yeah, but you never know. We might run out of rations.
We won't run out of rations.
Wouldn't they get their temporary hit points back the next night at the fire?
I'll make a mild concession, if you make it to the mouth of doom, presumably, that which is several days away. I want to note again that they could go into the mouth just enough and start a fire or something. They don't have to just perish because of a game rule that says mercenaries don't go to the dungeon.
And we're also let's make sure to cuddle at night. That way we'll be warmer.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. You're not wrong.
Ain't gotta tell me twice. Okay, so this sounds like a greedy but excellent plan. Is try to hit the Witchy Wood, hope that goes well, call it something less ridiculous than I just did, and then try to hit the Mouth of Doom at the end. And also flag everyone for the 3rd floor of the dungeon. Does that sound too greedy to you guys?
We probably won't make it all, but we'll go for as much of it as we can, right?
That sounds good.
All right.
I'm gonna spend an extra 2 gold on extra blankets for me and my horse.
Okay.
Idea.
I didn't know that was. Is that in the gear list for Swords and Wizardry?
Yeah. Does anyone have a tent?
I doubt it would be. I doubt it would be. Yeah, I doubt it would be 2 gold. I was just saying that to cover,
Then in that case, you do not have to spend 2 gold. You can assume that you have all of the winter equipment that you need. But good to note, you've got heavy wool blankets and winter equipment and gear and stuff. I do track whether or not it gets wet and stuff like that. If you fall into a river or something, that sort of thing would be a nightmare. and it would basically mean that it would no longer be useful. Okay. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Let me move it.
I'm gonna buy a couple spare sets of clothes.
Okay. Yeah, you can assume. That
Could I get hold of a sling, by the way?
You know what? For
rock.
extra sets of clothes, I will say that like for a gold piece, you have 2 more sets of clothes if you want to have that. A sling you can easily get for the listed price in the book. All right, Father Bloombad, which direction do you all go?
We're going to take the old road.
Okay.
One tiny logistical note. I'm going to buy extra clothes for the men.
All right, so that's how much that is.
I'll mark it down the cost.
Thank you.
And I'm marking down the tent for Caden. On his mule.
Okay. All right. It is very slow going, making your way through the heavy, in places packed in icy snow and uneven along the ground. The mules struggle. The war horses have it better. But the horses don't like this, but they're doing okay. It is already early evening as you make it to the road. You probably have a few hours left to travel for the day. The road, by the way, does not look like a road at this point. It just looks like a white patch that you're lucky to find, primarily by reference to where the frozen waters are of the inlet. And instead it's just white, and then it's unbroken by brush. And so you're pretty sure that's where the road is. Or what do you do, Father Bloombad?
We'll continue down the road. Maybe our ranger could look for a good camping spot.
Oh yeah, you all have a ranger. I did not calculate this.
Yeah, just you wait until I roll the d6.
You're a champion with that D6, dude. Never let us down.
Except that one time. But we can forget about that one time.
Water under the bridge.
Visibility drops as night falls, and you find, you're more so than anything covered in sweat from the hard work of trudging through this snow, and then the winds begin to pick up, and night falls. What do you do?
Set up camp. Get a fire going.
Okay.
Yeah, set up camp. Try
One
and
of
get a fire going. Check the perimeter.
10 days. Okay, so you use one of the 10 days of firewood to set up a camp, and you set up the watches and guard and check the perimeter and everything, and try to make yourself as comfortable as you can. The winds pick up during the night, and it is miserable. And despite all of your layers of clothes, you're still cold. And you probably do need to cuddle, and do what you need to, and keep everything close together. It takes every bit of that day of firewood to keep the fire going through the watches of the night. And when you wake up, the wind has not stopped, and in fact, the snowfall has increased. Should have actually brought on the snowfall later, but bam, there you go. Now it's snowfall now. And morning comes, and let me see.
Oh, I knew it was going to be a frost giant rip, guys.
We tried. We've had a good run.
I'm still going to try and climb it. It's bigger than us. You have to try and climb it.
Their kind fears ice and fire both.
All right.
Wait, no.
Where do you go, Father Bloombad?
This is the next morning.
It is the next morning, yes.
Okay, I will continue south on the road towards the Witchy Wood.
Okay. You're going to go this way?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's the way. That's the best way, right? I'm asking my companions. We don't know a better way, right?
It's the safest way for us to not get lost while getting there,
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
based on the map.
Each of you have lost 2 temporary hit points. You make it just to the edge of the wood. And you find that the edges of this wood here, it's off the road by a fraction of a mile. It just looks like a clump of snow as the thick trees are covered in snow from a distance. And at this point, when you come to the edge of this wood, it is early evening.
Ranger, you want to scout? See if there's any safer place to camp around? Or...
I mean, I don't think I have any abilities that like denote any sort of camping stuff, but if I can keep an eye out for wolf tracks.
Okay. As you're traveling, you indeed do find wolf tracks. You find them, in fact, by this point the visibility would have increased anyways. You find them, they look like they've come like this, and then you see them come back this way. That's where you see the tracks. These tracks are probably hours, maybe minutes old. They're less than a day old. They're not more than a day old.
Yeah. I'll tell the party to keep an eye out over in that direction, just in case they come looking for us. Hungry.
Okay.
How many mercenaries do we have?
You have 4.
There's 9 of us, so we could set up like 3 watches of 3 people each.
Yeah, you still have 3 hours before evening falls. I just wanted to let you've arrived at the edge of the woods that you had talked about.
Wait, are those tiny gray blobs to the left the woods that we were looking for?
Yeah, and it's probably like that. That's what I was saying in real life, is that you've just got like snow and then just like white and then a little bit raised white, clumps of white. And you're like, they're about 3/4 of a mile off the road is probably a forest.
Yeah. Well, you did a pretty good job with this reduced visibility thing, Ross. I'm impressed.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
It works.
All right. Yeah, what do you do, Father Bloombad?
Should we set up camp and then?
We've still got some moving to do, I think.
Okay. Let's move.
All right, where do you go?
Maybe move a little bit into the woods for some cover from this wind, and then try to set up camp.
Okay. It gets a little darker by the time you get to that point. Visibility starts to drop. The snows and the winds continue. You come to the edge of the wood line. As you come here, you can see that the canopy is so thick that it actually chokes the ground. The good news is that it would protect you from these winds, you think, but it's also very dark and very damp inside. With the canopy of thick forest along with the snow, it's almost like some kind of massive building of thick trees. It is pitch dark inside, and you wouldn't be able to see without torchlight. It is, you can see as you peer in, just on the edge of the woods, that some of the trees have octopus-like suckers on their trunks and branches. That's as much as you can see from where you are.
Is this a natural thing there, Ranger?
I don't know. Is it?
I can send you a message.
I don't like it.
There you go.
Sounds pretty bad.
Bloombad has legendary credulousness and legendary patience.
I mean, I don't know if we should camp inside of the forest if they have tentacles hanging from the trees.
I'll
go back forward.
I'll say that, you know, only the brave-hearted would go near that thing, and I won't say any more than that.
So you're saying we should go in then?
Well, if you're willing, I will. But I must warn you that there is a chance that you will not be coming back.
Okay. I mean, I'm brave of heart. I thought you were goading me.
Oh,
That's true.
no.
All right, so we'll camp outside of the forest. And how far of a distance would you recommend?
What's the goal of camping?
Well, I mean, it's going to be dark soon, right?
You still have about 2 hours, 3 hours
Okay.
before darkness falls. And you're going to lose 2 more hit points when that happens.
I mean, do we just go for it? See if we can get through this little forest in 2 hours, or do we assume it's an enchanted, horrible place where time is against us? It's gonna be pitch black in there anyway.
Yeah, I'm not liking this forest idea.
I mean, I don't like it either, but I want Zanko's Fairy to exist in spring. I feel
Be careful where you walk. I mean, we may end up walking into something that's not quite a forest.
Okay, I have a hand axe. Ross, I would like to take my little hatchet here and approach one of these trees with a sucker and bury the blade of the hatchet in the wood if possible and see if it bleeds.
You
It's not a percentile roll.
You do that. You take a hatchet, you go to the nearest tree, you look back, everyone sees you, you slam it into the tree, and it seems to be a tree.
If I scrape the blade along one of these suckers, is it like a knot in the... Is it like a solid bark-made knot in the wood? On the wood, or... Is it weird?
It seems to be made of wood and bark.
Okay.
Are you losing your mind, friend?
Yes.
Oh. I don't need to put you down yet, do I?
No. No, it's gonna be one of us putting the other one down one day. I'm looking forward to it. We should make a pact.
we should make a pact.
He then looks horrified.
We're one day out into the wizard
We're
world.
making death pacts.
Father Bloombad didn't tell you what happened to the Archbishop's representative, did he? But anyways, we won't go into that right now.
Wait. Anyway, Bloombad asked a great question, which is how far does Solas think is safe to camp away from these woods, or do we just want to go for it?
Yeah, I mean, is there a safe distance from this stuff?
So I go back to my original question. What is the goal? Like, is the goal to say nope on the woods and just like continue on to the dungeon? Because if that's the case, then I'll be generous and say, hey, let's just forget about this 3/4 of a mile of travel and continue on, because you're losing hit points. But if the goal is to like be like, well, we don't want to go in right now, but we should camp, well, you're going to lose hit points, so that would be really bad. So you should either, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but like you're losing hit points.
I say we go for it.
Let's go in.
Whatever you do.
Yeah, I share Regarius's
if you camp, you're going to
reservation,
lose
but I'm
hit points.
still
So you have nothing to look. There is nothing in the embrace of sleep right now except misery, cold, and the loss of hit points. There's nothing
Sounds
to
like
be.
the same thing that's in this forest.
Well, that's true too. Maybe.
I'm just gonna. I have no idea how weird this is gonna get, and I'm scared just because of what Ross told me. But I'm not gonna, divulge anything. But I'm gonna like make a little nick in my thumb with like my sword or something, and then wipe the blood on the top of my forehead and say, "If you see another me that doesn't have this blood, don't trust it."
I'll do the same. Actually, if
Well-
Solas is freaking out, I'm gonna follow his lead on this one.
Okay, so let's vote.
Yeah.
So how many votes do we have to go on to the dungeon?
I would vote for going on to the dungeon.
Okay, a sensible response.
It is the
Unfortunately,
only-
everyone else is
It's not-
diving forth into the
no,
creepy,
hey.
spooky milk woods.
That's what we're here to do, is adventure stuff. So it's just, yeah.
I'm so sorry, Mike.
I-
You're right. You are in every way
It's
objectively
funny.
right about this.
I agree.
wanna do the
You are right.
You can say you told us so right now if you want, and you would be well within your rights.
So does everybody nick their thumb and put blood on their forehead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's make a bear blade for me. I will.
I'll
I like how
place
everyone's
my blood
not
on Blood's
logical.
forehead.
We're all doing it.
I'm not gonna make you draw blood, even your own.
Wait, why are we we're putting blood on? Is this part of the pack?
I know. I think it's in case there's like body snatchers or something. I don't know. But Solas looks freaked out, and he doesn't get freaked out. He's like, oh
Like,
yeah, chaos, horror,
smearing-
whatever.
Smearing fresh blood on our faces sounds like the opposite of what we want to do.
It's a dot, just so that, to recognize one another by. He said if he comes back and that dot isn't there, it's not him.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't want to put the dot on your forehead. You'd want to put it like maybe right inside your shirt where it's not noticeable. So, like if a doppelganger or something gets them, they won't know to mimic the dot because it's hidden.
All right, everybody. So, what do you do? Do you bring all the mules and all the horses and all the people, and you go under the forest canopy?
Let's send a mule in first.
That's a bunch of our firewood. Hang on.
We could take the firewood off, send a mule in,
Well, it's not a
And see if the
drone.
trees-
What do you want the mule to do? It's just gonna.
go in there and see if the trees eat it.
Okay, you strip
I had
down.
to pay for that.
You strip down poor Timmy the mule and you smack its butt and it clobs off into the dark forest and that's it. And you don't hear anything.
Let's
Oh,
find a
we're
mule.
supposed-
We're never seeing that mule again now. Thanks.
That cost me 20 gold, man.
I could give you 20 gold.
No, it's okay.
But that's not a mule.
Maybe it'll come back and not be the mule.
It'll be a doppelganger mule.
Yeah, it's gonna have teeth. It's gonna come back and it's gonna have like shark teeth.
We didn't put a dot on its forehead. How are we gonna know?
Shit.
Did
This
you
is how
tell
Ross
it?
does the TPK.
How long was it that you told the mule to go in there for and come back?
Don't
Right.
speak
This
English.
was my problem. Yeah. It's not like it's a
I
UAV
can't-
or something and it's gonna.
I'll follow the mule at a distance with the men and my horse.
All right.
Me too.
All right. And you.
Yeah, I'm side by side. I'm riding with Kellic.
I just want to
you
make
know,
sure that I
it's-
understand, Kellic. When you went in and you hit the tree, you left the forest, right?
I did. I walked
Okay.
back to the party and reported. As far as I can tell, it's wood.
Could it be an illusion?
That's just what the
Yeah.
trees want us to think.
Could be anything, man.
Could be a
Clarence,
portal
does
to
anyone want
hell.
to detect evil?
I don't have it on me usually when I go out.
Sorry, that's just such a funny reply to that. I don't have detect evil on me. Sorry.
I mean, I don't have it prepared.
Could have it tomorrow.
Okay, so everybody's going into the forest, including the mules, the horses, and the mercenaries, right? I just want to make sure I understand. Right, Father?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That is the death toll.
Yes.
Okay, so you stoop down. You find that you have to, and you have to like pull the vines and the branches out of the way into this thick forest, and you start making your way in, and the sounds, the winds stop entirely, and it begins to look like a different place. As while the ground is icy and frosty, it seems to be largely protected from the accumulation of snow. As you travel in here, you begin to see more of these octopus-like suckers on the trunks and branches of the trees, and you see what you think might be the shapes of faces leering at you from tree branches and trunks, although perhaps it's just in your mind. And somebody needs to, if you want to see, you will need to light a torch or a lantern.
I'll light up my lantern.
I'll let up my lantern too and have it to a mercenary.
Okay, you hand a lantern to a mercenary. Solas.
I hold my own lantern. You know, I'm a ranger. I can't not hold my own lantern.
Right. And you're walking along, and you notice that the light seems to be dimmer coming from your lantern more so than usual. And then eventually, you notice, Caden, that Solas's lantern is gone.
What?
Yeah, you look around and you don't see Solas.
Where did Solas go?
Is he missing?
Yeah.
Let's look for his tracks going off.
When you start to look around, you realize also that Kellic is gone.
What? Kellic? Oh no.
You said you start looking for his tracks.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna. We should get a rope and start tying ourselves to each other.
Okay. Yeah, you take your ropes and you tie yourselves off to each other. Father Bloombed, roll a d6.
Not surprised.
You said you're not surprised?
It's a 5.
Okay. You think you hear, you see in the distance, in this dark place, a stone cottage with a garden fenced around it with pikes of human bones and skulls. And then you also see what you think is an indication not of Solas passing through the forest, but you think Kellic.
Okay. I'm gonna cast light on my mace.
All right, you cast light, and you sense that the light is almost kind of contained around you, almost like the light is fighting back against something around you currently.
And Kellic's footprints, are they headed towards the hut?
No, they're headed off to the side. So, well, I can't really show you from here. Maybe if I go to an overland page like this, it sort of looks like, if you all are here and you've got trees around you everywhere, and then there's a stone cottage with a garden with skulls and stuff and a little path off in the distance, then his path veers off this way.
I don't know. I think we should look for our companions first. Are you all in agreement?
Agreed.
So,
Mhm.
all right, what do you do?
We're going to head in that direction. We're already roped together.
Okay. And do you all go that way?
Maybe start calling out. I'll start calling out their names.
Yes.
All right, and this includes the mules, the horses, and the 4 mercenaries all go with you. Is that right?
Yeah, we're staying together.
Okay, and you're roped off. All right, and Rogarius, you start to call out the name of Kellic and Solas, and you think you hear laughter coming from the hut, and then as Father Bloombad leads you down this path, you pull aside some branches, and you feel as though you're suddenly the climate is different. I'll describe that in a second, and I also have to get some things. Oh, here it is. You suddenly find yourself in a clearing. The sky has a sickly yellow color to it. And the air feels old and stale, although you're completely in the open. I just have to take a quick look. And actually, I'm going to describe this from Solas and Kellic's point of view because you arrive here first. Your companions arrive behind you just shortly thereafter. But at first, you look around, and Kellic and Solas, you seem separate from your companions, and you've just took a step in the forest. As you were looking down, you look up, and then you see this place. It's a semicircular amphitheater of stone steps for seats. The steps are overgrown with moss and ferns. At the central stage is a rusted, rotted, crumbling apparatus of puppets, shadow puppets. And then, all right. Yeah, first of all, so when this happens, what do you do, Kellic and Solas?
I would, move at pace with Kellic and, get closer to investigate, I think.
You get closer to the amphitheater?
Yeah, I want to check out those shadow puppets, see if it's like some kind of, like, what do they look like? Are they stationary? Or...
Okay. When you get closer, you notice something, and then something happens. Let me look here and make sure I understand this correctly. Let's see. I know. It's a stage. It's not puppets. It's a sheet to make shadow puppets. Like to cast a shadow to make a shadow puppet theater. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But that being said, when you look on the sheet, there are shadows on the sheet. And as you get closer, you can see that there are shadows on the sheet. And the other thing you notice is just up on the hillside, you hear a clash, a bunch of loud noise as something is fighting something. And it sounds like it has this like grinding, droning sound, like metal on metal, rapidly. And then a hissing sound. But that's something happening up on the hill.
What do the shadow shapes look like that are being, cast on this paper? And are the shadows like? Where does it seem like they're coming from, or are they just there?
They look like people's shadows, like somebody is casting their shadow onto this. There's somebody standing somewhere nearby and that's casting a shadow on it.
Well, if I look around, is there actually anybody casting a shadow onto it? Or...
You look around and you don't see anybody, but when you look down, you notice that you don't have a shadow. Meanwhile, Kellic, what are you doing?
I'll be standing a little bit further back while he goes to investigate and lighting a torch myself at this point if shadows have come into play. It's important to have a light source. You said there's a sound, a grinding sound, coming from further up the slope of the amphitheater?
Yeah.
What can I discern about the direction? Does it sound like it's echoing and coming from everywhere, or does it sound like it's coming from somewhere specific?
Yeah, like if you imagine like after this lump of stone just on the other side of it, but outside of your sight, there's some kind of tussle going on with something that sounds like grinding metal upon metal rapidly, as well as a hissing sound, and there's something fighting and scuffling on the ground up there. Meanwhile, everyone else shows up, and Kellic and Solas, you lose a point of charisma as you begin to wonder where you are and, what was real about any of this. And everybody else shows up, and then you see this. You see Kellic, and you see Solas, and he's looking at what's clearly like a wooden apparatus for like in a sheet for shadow puppets, and he's like looking at the sheet, and then you hear this racket up on the hill.
Is the climate changed? Is it warmer here?
Yeah, it feels like this like still, dry, suffocating stillness, almost as if the air has not circulated. You think
Do we have shadows?
Well, you wouldn't know anything about that. But I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Is it cold?
It's not cold. No.
Would we get some temporary hit points back or no?
Good point. If you stay here for
Smart move.
Yeah, if you stay here for an hour, you will warm back up and get your 2 hit points back.
And then worse things will happen to you.
Yeah, do we want to investigate that noise, or do we want to investigate this area?
I should note behind you. I should note like what you see from where you came from is just forest. That's like really thick that you just stepped out of.
Okay, I'm gonna throw one of my blankets over a tree branch to mark where we came out of the forest head.
Okay.
The 2 guys who just showed up, I'm gonna ask them, where'd you go? What happened?
Yeah, you guys just suddenly disappeared.
We were just a little farther ahead of you. Seems that you've caught up.
Well, you were just there for a second, and then we were gone.
Oh. None of us saw where we were.
Did we notice that we were separated meaningfully from the group, or did we figure we were just around the bend ahead of them?
I imagine this all happened pretty fast, so you probably did just notice that they weren't there, but then they caught up. Yeah. About 10 minutes has passed. About a round. So.
Yeah, I mean.
I'll reconnoiter around the amphitheater.
Yeah, we should probably investigate the noise.
Yeah. Now that everyone's here. Ross, that's a lot of dice.
Oh, sorry.
It is.
Okay. All right. What is Solas doing?
Well, I was checking out that paper thing, and
Okay.
But then after that,
Yeah, you notice that your shadow you don't have a shadow. You don't see anyone else casting shadows. You look back, you don't see any of your companions having shadows. You see shadows against the sheet where the shadow puppet theater is, and they seem to just be doing their own thing.
all right.
All right, and then meanwhile, everyone else, you said that you're going to try to climb up the side of the hill and see what the racket is.
We should move as a group. We should stick together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably. Oh gosh. So we. Yeah.
Try to do it stealthily.
Well, I mean, we're in plate mail and riding horses. We're probably not going to be too
That's
quiet.
fair.
Okay. Well, if you head up there, you see that there's a battle going on with these large creatures against this other large creature. They're swarming around it and biting at it, and you hear like this loud screeching metal sound, like metal grinding on metal really fast, coming from these things. And then there's this big like lizard looking thing that they're attacking, and it's like swatting them away, and they are tearing into its flesh.
Oh, it has flesh.
Let's save the giant lizard. Let's go.
Yep, it has.
Really?
It bleeds. We can befriend it.
Save the giant lizard.
Save the giant lizard.
Is it like dragon size or?
No,
Save the giant lizard.
but it's
Everyone
it's
knows
big.
you
It's
save the giant lizard.
I would say it's probably the size of maybe a horse.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not like dragon size.
You might want to try to take these flying creatures out with missile weapons first.
Can we volley into them without hitting the bigger lizard thing?
So is the plan to fight? Yeah, and if you fired missiles, that's a good point. You would stand to hit the lizard if you're trying to help the lizard.
The flakes of rust make me nervous.
Yeah.
Another round has passed, and everyone loses a charisma point.
Oh,
I'm going for it. Unless Bloombat objects, I'll look at him
Let's
and
do it.
nod.
Let's do it.
go for
Shrug
it.
and-
Oh, okay.
Charge in at the rusty fly creatures. Automata.
Yeah, I think that's my game plan too.
And yeah.
All
Are we
right.
coming from behind this lizard thing?
That's not the important part. So I'll say that you can get a surprise round on these things.
Well, I just want to know if it sees us, because I'd hate for it to.
It sees you. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if your intention is to try to help it, you can make that clear. If your intention is to help the bee things, you could, is the goal to help the lizard?
My goal is to oppose the bee things first and see how
Yeah. I
see
things
what you
pan
mean.
out.
All right. You can.
Well, we don't have to. I'm probably going to be watching and seeing how things play out a little bit.
I think that's reasonable. You do you, man. This is messed up stuff.
What's your goal in seeing how things play out?
I just see how just see how it goes for a round or two.
Just one question. What happens at 0 charisma?
Oh.
You don't know, and your character doesn't know that you're losing charisma.
Yeah, that's true.
What your character is experiencing is a disorientation. Like you're starting to be like, was Zelkor's fairy even real? Like there's this kind of vague notion of that. But anyways, the reason I say that, Mike, is if your goal is to see if you're going to run, if the party dies, you're going to die. I'll make that clear. It's either everybody's going to do something or nobody's going to do something. So there's not like I'm going to see how this goes for the party. But if your goal is to say, well, maybe I can parlay with one of these things, or I can try to find an angle or something. That's why I'm trying to see what you want to do by staying back.
Well, I will just follow other people's lead.
All right. Okay. In that case, Father Bloombad, well, you all have a surprise round. So you can, if your goal is to attack the bees, you can go up and attack the bees.
That's what I do.
Yeah, same.
The mercy.
We're all gonna have lost our shadows and be useless by the time that this is over. It's been a good run, guys.
Oh, you got an 18.
All right.
I forgot to use my character sheet, and I just rolled a 20.
So Loss is joining the fray.
Attaboy.
So I got a nat 20 and do 1 damage.
I don't suppose.
Mind you, if we have a surprise round, well, mind you, I'm going to risk hitting people if I start shooting them.
I don't suppose these things are 1-hit die or less.
They're not. You can if you roll with a bow, you chance hitting the lizard, basically to start.
Okay, yeah, I don't use my bow.
All right, let's see here. That also hits.
Ross is now just doing experiments. If I throw 2 completely alien creatures at them, which one will
Really?
they
For
hit
3
less?
damage?
It's a lot of good to hit rolls. 2 20s.
You have to hit armor class 14.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I hit this one for 3 damages.
Okay.
I did 6 damage.
Let's see, and you are over in the middle. Okay.
So
Anybody
Bloombad
else?
hits the left one for 1,
1 damage. Okay.
and then really only 3 of the mercs can reach from the second rank.
All right, they're going to you start jumping up in the air and you're trying to hit these things. If you miss, that's probably wise. Like you're trying to hit things in the air with your weapons, and they're trying to do it with their pole arms. And there's this like awful grinding, like rusty metal on metal, but really rapid, like and it's causing rust to just spray everywhere. And these things are going to fly around. They're going to keep swarming around this thing and try to attack it. Let's see here. Everybody did their melee attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. They are unable to hit it, and so this thing is going to initiate a save. 2 of them fail, and so all of a sudden you just see this thing gout flame out of its mouth, just like like a flamethrower, and 2 of these things are immolated and they fall from the air.
Oof.
And let's see, that is its turn. Father Bloombad, roll a d6. 1. Okay.
Uh-oh.
They're able to act first. The bee thing is going to try to attack this thing. It misses, and then this thing's going to try to attack it. And it hits. And you see it. It wraps its tail around it. But it's able to escape, and it flies off, although it is damaged, and it's your all's turn.
Does my mace look all right?
Oh, and you all lose a point of charisma. Your mace, it's shining light, although it has this it's fluctuating as if it's trying to push something back all the time.
Okay, I'll attack the one that's fleeing or whatever.
All right. You have to hit a 14.
Miss.
Anybody else?
It's flying away. Can we try to shoot it down? Is that our better option?
Oh, it's not. I'm sorry. It's not flying away. It's trying to
Oh, it just
attack
got
us.
loose.
19.
I see.
All right, 19 hits for 4 damage. Gotcha. You crack off one of its wings and it wobbles in the air after you strike it, Caden.
Guess we'll step up here and take a swing as well.
The mercenaries.
Space. Kalek will hit for 5.
5. Describe how you kill it. This looks like
I swat it out of the air and it crashes into the ground. Probably.
Yeah. Well, when you do that,
with a short sword,
it it looks like like an old piece of antique farming equipment. At least Martin would know that. Like it looks like an old rusty mechanical bee. To Kellic, perhaps some strange artifice, but heavily rusted. And this big lizard thing, it says, "Oh, well, that was quite kind of you. Thank you so much."
In common? It speaks common?
I speak quite a bit more than common, in fact. I know several languages. And then he starts speaking in Elvish as well.
All right, well, I'll like bow, you know.
Okay, he bows back.
Care for some healing?
Oh, no. You are going to try to use what you call the divine. It will only harm me, please. But that's kind of you.
What's the meaning of this?
maybe ask your name. Sorry.
Redlam Laz. It's not something that would be common in your tongue,
Uh, what is your purpose in this place?
Purpose? What is anyone's purpose? Can you say what your purpose is? He smiles.
I used to. Not anymore.
Well, perhaps if you live as long as I have, you'll find that you go through that a few times. Perhaps purpose is not a fixed point.
Do you know a way that I could live as long as you have?
There are ways. Though perhaps it's best. I've read certain things that say that your kind should deteriorate. If you stay in a place like this and live as I have, they say that it does things. Changes people like you. It's unfortunate.
What is... Sorry.
Into people like you?
When I was young, was I the same? We all change. What is the origin point of each of us? When you were younger, were you the same as you are now? How long have you been the way you are?
Since I woke up this morning.
You
This
have
commentary
days.
will prompt Kalek to look down at his hands and see how he's doing.
Yeah, you look down, Kalek, and you now do not see that. You see that you and none of your companions have a shadow, and you start to wonder yourself if you actually are Kalek.
How much consciousness do I have left of myself?
Let's see. I think these are just like questions right now at the edge of your consciousness. Like, is Zelkor's Ferry an actual place? Am I Kellic? That's probably a new one. But these are kind of like fuzzy thoughts. These are like edge of your consciousness thoughts.
Okay.
Aiden will ask, what is this place?
Oh, you small human. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be patronizing. This is sometimes what you would call the in-between place. The diagonal. The other. It's so good to have company like this.
If we travel back in the direction we came, will we go back to the place we were before?
I don't know the place you were before. In
So
fact,
we would.
I don't even know your before or your after. And not having the various points and the physics required in the equations, I cannot answer that question.
Oh, what?
Would you like to see our world?
Ah,
Or are you a prisoner in this realm?
see your world. Oh, that does sound very interesting.
Yeah, I could take you.
Is that something we should be doing?
I don't want to drag things off in a different direction, but you said I noticed I don't have a shadow, right?
Yeah, you notice, and also none of your companions have a shadow, but this thing does.
Kalek is going to grab Bloombad by the arm, barring his objection, and start dragging him down toward the shadow puppet device.
Okay.
He'll ask Bloombad if he knows who he is, if he knows who Kalek is.
At this point,
Yes.
everyone will have lost another point of charisma. And you... The question is entering your mind if you actually know who you are. Or if you are who you think you are. And it's
But
becoming...
I still know who Bloombad is, right?
Yes. In the same way that you, Martin, know who Bloombad is.
Oh, jeez. So I'm gaining meta knowledge of this being a tabletop game.
So the light from my mace doesn't cast a shadow either, right?
Not from you, but it does make the shadow shift when you shine it on the lizard. Although you wouldn't have noticed at this point. Although probably, I guess. Well, let's just say everybody at this point has noticed they don't have shadows. Except for the big lizard. Only...
Maybe we should...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, maybe we should leave this place.
Yeah, we should find out. Maybe he knows how to... Does he know how to leave? I'll holler back.
I mean, I think we just go back through the woods.
Yeah, there was we left a marker, right?
Threw a blanket at the spot we entered, yeah.
You hear... I should note, and actually I think everybody can roll a d6 for this. And if you roll a d6, and if you have a class where you can hear things better at a wider range, let me know. Otherwise, let me know if you get a 1. Let me see here. Well, weird.
Well, yeah.
Aha, there it is.
We tried.
No one did? Okay. I will say that you do kind of notice, maybe perhaps Caden does, there's some sort of strange rhythmic quality here, almost in the ground, that you notice for a moment. And then you look up, Caden, and you can see off in the distance is a gate. And you realize that it's a walled garden with a Edwardian-style imperial gate in the walled garden. I'm sorry. Somebody was trying to do something.
I have a thought. I'd like to blast the device with the horn.
Ross's face.
All right. Okay. You said that you were going to do it. It's too late.
I will warn people to cover their ears.
You-
That is what they
And their
die.
souls.
The,
Cover your
but-
souls, people.
Yeah.
the amphibian looks and he's like, "Oh, I haven't seen one of those in your terms of your how do you calculate your time? What category of time?" And he starts muttering on about the different categories of time and stuff like that, and temporal mechanics and stuff. And then you blow the horn, and he's like surprised a little bit, and everybody's holding their ears, and it's this place just vibrates with this energy, and you destroy the shadow theater. Just splinters everywhere, and you see the shadows on the ground when you're done, and they dance, and the shadows like run off.
If I made it worse, I'm really sorry, guys.
How big
Have
are
we
the
lost our
shadows?
shadows?
They were varying in size, but like when the Shadow Theater was destroyed, they kind of had this elongated appearance, like long, skinny appearance leading up into the seats of the amphitheater, but then they narrowed and grew smaller as they fled off on either side of the theater. Everyone loses another... No, actually, I'm sorry. Everyone has all their charisma back. That fixed that. But you have no shadow.
Whole thing feels inspired by Plato's cave.
In the most brutal way possible.
Yeah.
What
I don't
color
remember
is this
Clockwork Rust monsters.
reptilian thing?
I'm gonna guess and say that it's a sort of pale, earthy tone color. It's not very...
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like it's, picked up vibrant colors or anything. It's sort of taken on the color of the earth around it.
Ah, cool.
And then he licks his lips and he's like, well, that was very exciting and I've enjoyed our discourse. You said that I could visit your world.
Yes, I mean, I'm willing to make a deal if you, work in those sort of realms. I've heard some things about this place before.
He smiles and then cocks his head a little bit. A deal? You want to make a bargain?
I recommend
Of course.
against it.
Also, I'm assuming that this guy knows all. I'll just assume he knows all the languages I do, and I'll start speaking to him in what was it called again? It's written on my character sheet. You know that evil ass language?
Yeah, Drunic.
No, the other one. Is that related?
Yinian?
Related to the? Yeah.
Ah,
Is that related to the other at all?
is your goal just to kind of like...
I'm just trying to obscure what I'm saying to the party.
Oh, why would you do that?
Well, so they don't know I'm making a deal with some other creature, so that they don't get suspicious. Or they might
I
get
think we would be
suspicious.
suspicious the instant that you started speaking in a language
Yeah,
that no one else knew.
Yeah,
and that
no,
would be
I
more
think it's okay. I
suspicious.
think you can include the party. However, don't worry. That's a cool thing to do, and I think you can make a deal with this weird creature if you want. I don't think anybody can tell you can't do that.
Well, I was just trying to stop people from immediately interjecting, but by knowing what I was doing, But yeah, that's fine.
No, nobody's going to do that, and you don't have to hide things from... No, it's all good. You can do whatever you want. It's cool.
Yeah, I was just role playing it.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you say to him? What's the bargain?
Well, I just want to learn what I can from it in exchange for, I'll take it to whatever, and in return, I don't know with all the shadow stuff or whatever, but I'll say that it can have my identity. I don't need it.
Ah. Well, that could be a very valuable thing. And all of that just for something that you want to know? What do you want to know? Ah, don't tell me. We have to seal our bargain first. So, as I understand it, you'll give me yourself. And then... and you want to know something?
Yes. Perhaps nothing in particular if there's not one question you can't ask, but if there's a way that, back in my world, some people are changed by the primordial forces, and we seek a way to put an end to their plight.
Ah. Oh, yes. I think I have heard of this. I've read it. As you know, this place, as we stand here now, it's different than yours. You're limited in your understanding and experience. You don't understand the way time works. And so you'll begin to change as you stay here. more and more if you stay here for a while. I do hope that you stay here, but in the in-between place. But there's no way to reverse that. It is irreversible, and nothing in your world could ever change that. At least nothing that I know of. But I suppose you also mean the underworld, the dark shadow of your world.
I'm not sure. Wherever we may find it. It's sworn oath to try to find it, so...
I'd heard about this, and I've read about this underworld, that your world has a dark shadow, an opposite. If you were to try to reverse an effect from that, I would theorize. He's like really enthusiastic, and he's just hypothesizing. He's like, I would theorize that you would need to find the root cause of the change. And then you would need to rebuild the thing that was changed.
Cryptic, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Anyway, how do we seal this deal? That you can come with me in whatever form you may, as I assume that you're capable of far more than any user of the arcane that I've seen.
Capable? I wonder, in comparison to what? And either way, I failed in our bargain, so I'm unable to take your very self, unfortunately. I regret.
Well, what do you want?
Oh, well,
Would you like some company?
I am eager to follow you back into your world. It's been some time since I've explored anything like that.
Oh, so you wish for nothing in return, then?
It seems to me that this was something you were freely offering. Must I give you something?
No, not at all.
Very well.
I'm quite happy of your company.
And I'm happy of yours as well. They're speaking this language that's like really sing-songy. Yeah. But it's clear that he's bringing this thing into the real world. I will say, I'm thinking that is something you all could vote against, if that's okay, scumbag. Like, if you're like, we cannot bring this thing into the real world, then that would make sense to me. Like, that can be a group decision, but otherwise...
Yeah, I'll tell them that's what I plan to do.
Great.
Does time travel normally here? As normally here as it does where we come from?
You ask the reptile that?
Yes.
He says, oh, no, not at all. Time is very limited, as I understand it, in your world. It's very multifaceted and beautiful, like a multifaceted diamond here at this place.
Do you think we should camp here tonight? Camp here now and then go back where we came from?
What, 100 years later?
Yeah, now.
Yeah, we don't know how long time is.
I think
With a bunch of scales and stuff.
we're gonna leave and it'll be like no time has passed.
Also possible. I think we're gonna leave and Ross will roll a D100 and decide how many orders of magnitude to raise 10 to see how long has passed.
That could be one-way winter passes if you want to do that instead.
Ooh.
Or you just come out and it's springtime. That's one possibility.
Hey guys. Yeah, I'll make real savings.
We have to
on
tell. It's on the recording, so I'll edit it. In fact, actually, I will. I'll edit it. You have to tell them all that, like, you have to swear a vow of silence and just say nothing for the next 2 weeks, and we just like, and we won't even meet on the Otherworld channel. Like, we'll do a direct call, you know, and then yeah.
I think that would be cool, but I also don't. Here's my only hang-up, is that I want to make sure that Zelkor's Ferry survives, and I want to kill everything that's like gonna get in the way of Monday's raid. But I don't know what John's gonna do.
I agree with that.
That's otherwise. and not even necessarily otherwise. This is just where I'm thinking from. Aside from that, I'd totally stay here. That's pretty neat. I don't know what it would do. Ross could come up with something cool, I'm sure.
I'd have to roll
yeah.
up a new character for one day.
What do you guys think?
We should stay an hour at least. Just to get our
Yeah,
temporary-
an hour's fine.
Okay, let me get my thing to figure out what happens
Could
after an hour.
have interesting and unpredictable effects.
Yeah. But then, is anyone against me bringing our new friend into the real world? He needs to,
Yes.
stretch his legs.
He seems nice enough to me.
Yeah.
Caden is against it just because of the
So-
nature of this place.
So we got 2 for, and 1 against so far, and then we got 2 more
But
votes.
I would want to warn this creature that our world is a dark forest with evil everywhere that we're fighting against.
Can we ask him a couple of questions, like diagnostic questions about maybe his stance on such things as law, chaos?
And eating
I know
people.
maybe they're beneath him, but
I mean, yeah, I will say that, yes. Like, what is the goal, though? Like, what's the overall goal? And the reason I ask this is you have 40 minutes left to resolve whatever this thing that was cackling in the woods was, if that's your goal.
Yeah, I would like to return to the hut.
But you have 40 minutes, but is the goal to just try to suss out whether or not this thing is an abject evil or not, or whether it's going to, like, devour everyone in Zilkor's Ferry? Like, what is the intention or the goal?
I'd love to know if we're unleashing a demon on the world. It's been very polite to us, but that doesn't mean that it's good.
I believe it said it was hardened by the divine.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's got me a little worried.
Solas would know about this in more depth. Scumbag, you wouldn't reveal everything about the other, but you would might be able to kind of divide this from the demonic. And the creature has said as much as well, but he says again, no, that is just a concern that your kind and your world have, that you have a shadow to your world, a natural adversary. It's how your world is designed. I'm something beyond your world, other than your world.
Okay. Can your kind tell lies?
I think that he seems like he looks at you not with like he's offended, but he looks disappointed in you, and he says, the problem, and since you are framing this clearly as a moral issue, which again is a matter of your world's shadow, is that you tell truths, and that is a problem. Something that would be very difficult for you to survive in this place. I'm sorry, but you have to understand, or perhaps you don't, and perhaps you can't. I think that your perspective is always going to be limited. Your world is limited.
Limited,
diet?
perhaps, but suited to our world.
In the
Falls
limitless
to us to
bounds of
decide whether, as the ones perhaps extending an offer of hospitality, you might be suited to our world.
Does your diet consist of?
Oh,
you guys.
sometimes
We're doing our best, man.
Sometimes I enjoy eating. I mostly like to eat some of the peoples that I find here. You know, I find that the fungal people here they're so delicious. They're a favorite.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, but you don't know how the ecology here works. You know, the fungal people could be non-sapient,
Yeah, I mean,
Never know.
they could be evil and delicious.
Exactly. That's
I'm
my
gonna
favorite
call it a
combination of
neutral
things.
answer. That second one. That doesn't turn me off.
All of a sudden, Solas, roll a d6.
All right, look, guys, look, we're in a different plane of existence. All right, it's not my
all
fault.
ones now.
Fascinating. It's too late then, because they get a surprise round. This thing has captured its attention as a bunch of creatures. They're not that big, don't worry, but they are big. They're like
Oh my
this.
god, a giant peacock.
Big bird.
A bunch of creatures appear, screeching. And they swoop in and start to attack all of you. And
Are
they're
we
gonna.
smoking salvia?
God.
What's that?
Were we smoking salvia and I didn't notice?
Yeah, we did smoke salvia. We accidentally,
this is really
so
weird.
we walked into the woods and then we smoked some salvia.
It's really weird.
And chances are most of you are going to forget any of this happened unless...
It's not as weird as Troika.
Yeah, it's still not as weird as Troika, but can we also, we got to survive this and then take this creature into the real world so that we can
we might as well just
that
do it.
remains to be assessed.
Hey, this thing can breathe fire. Zelkor's Ferry is going to be safe. It's going to be safer
We might as well
with
just
the
do
dragon
it.
thing.
Or Zelkor's Ferry is going to be subjugated by an interdimensional dragon god.
Exactly, and then we can become the servants of the interdimensional dragon god, and then we've got a higher
a lot of
status.
very different fiction. If
It,
you think
uh,
that's
it-
going to go well.
It screeches in pain as these things claw into its flesh, and it turns around in anger to fight. Father Bloombad, you can roll a d6 for initiative.
This?
Also, what's the plan for the group? Got a 6. Okay, you are able to act first.
I personally want to interpose myself between these creatures and the beast to try and protect it as best as I can.
Caden's gonna try to help this mercenary that's over by himself.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and try to tackle the thing off of my mercenary here.
Okay,
I'm gonna go swing on one.
everybody can roll to attack and for damage. Then I'll have the mercenaries I'll have all the mercenaries do it.
Yeah.
Does a 12 hit?
A 12 does hit.
I got.
Nice, Mike.
Yeah, it's not a natural 20.
Let's see, Martin, you do 6 damage. Regardless,
I don't have control of my token. I move it.
you do 3 damage. Solas, you miss. Anybody else?
Blumbat hit for 5. 6.
Caden hit for 2.
6. Okay, you kill 1. Caden hit for 2. Boom. Kill one of these things. And, alright. Let's see. That makes it their turn. This thing is going to belch fire again. It politely says, "Pardon me, if you will," just to Solas.
Oh, right, yeah. I'll get out of its way.
Yeah, he takes a big meaty claw and just gently moves you out of the way, just ever so gently, and just like and fire like just billows out from its mouth. Let's see here. Okay, one of them passes, and let's see, it easily immolates these two. Like, no problem at all. And let's see, one of them is gonna attack Father Bloombad. It hits. It does 2 claws plus 4.
Oof.
That doesn't make any sense. I think I just have that backwards. It's 2d6. You take 5 points of damage as this peacock just like starts slicing into you. This one's going to attack this mercenary. It hits. It does. And you take your first casualty in the other world as this thing like rips this thing, your mercenary's throat out, and there's arterial blood shooting from him as he gurgles and falls onto the ground in this alien world. And Father Bloomberg, could roll a d6 for initiative.
Roll Kai.
This.
Oh no.
And they're able to act first. It's going to attack Caden. Caden is a 17 hit.
Yes, it does.
Okay, you take 3 points of damage.
Oh,
and
thank God.
This thing flies in to attack Father Bloombad.
Did we give our temporary hit points back yet, or?
No, it's not been an hour.
Okay. Okay.
It does 8 damage to Father Bloombad, and then this thing moves over to attack it. A nat 20. And let's see. I can't remember. That sucks. This turkey's on the loose. 2 of the turkeys are on the loose.
Yeah,
Okay.
death by turkey. Ugh.
Yeah, it's your all's turn.
Okay.
You have the mercenaries desperately fighting right now. They
Cast Cure Light Wounds.
Caden is like, can I have some backup over here?
can do that.
I should be backing you up. I can't move my token.
I'm sorry, where are you headed? I'll just
Over
move
by
you
the
there. I'm not
turkey
gonna-
next to Caden.
Okay,
somewhere.
yeah, you can do that. You can roll to hit all these mercenaries. They
I've
look
done.
like their sanity is about to break, and they're about to probably flee soon. 12 does hit. So you do 5 damage to that turkey up there. Okay, and anybody else?
2 to the close one,
2 to the close.
or to
Okay.
the bottom one.
All right, roll a d6, Father Bluebed. All right, you don't have to roll a d6. You all can attack. I'll have the mercenaries attack. Oops.
I cast Cure Light Wounds on myself again.
All right. The mercenaries, they launch into action, and they're able to bring this thing down. All right, then Regarius misses. Anyone else fighting this this turkey here? This guy will.
I tried to hit it and I missed.
And he misses. All right, it's his turn. He's gonna keep just slicing at Father Bloombad. Father Bloombad, a 9, it misses. Okay, and roll a d6, heretic.
6.
Nice.
You all pass. The mercenaries run over to try to help you all. They get their spirits back, you know, despite seeing their friend die after everything. They do. All right, and 3 plus, that's 4. 4, 7. 7. Okay. That does it. So, Caden, describe how you kill this thing.
Caden picks it up and just slams it into the ground until it stops moving.
Yeah, you just keep doing that. Let me see if there's anything interesting about these things. They're just gigantic peacocks. They are as tall as a person, in fact. They have,
So I guess he doesn't pick it up. He jumps on its back then.
they have long hooked beaks and long legs. Otherwise, they look like peacocks, except they're as large as a man.
Hey, they should be worth a decent amount of money.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should bring some of this stuff back with us.
They do have a beautiful plumage. The lizard Redramaz, he says we should leave, I think, if we're going to leave.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
I agree.
Very
I'm gonna
well.
tie one of these to the horse.
Okay, you all take all the peahawks?
Is that a good idea?
As many as we can.
Otherworldly trophies?
I'm not gonna bother with grabbing one of these things.
And the feathers may be worth
What
money.
about the bees?
The feathers may be worth money. The feathers may destroy the space-time continuum.
I don't know what a space-time
We're
continuum
bringing
is.
the big lizard with us, so
What is this?
Are we? Can we actually put that to a vote? Because I object.
oh, you're objecting.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were okay. So 2 against. So Father Bloombad, I think, is the tiebreaker.
I mean, if
It's
we want to
2 of you
like
were against.
make a deal to be able to come
Or
back
4.
here and meet with him, that'd be one thing. But I don't know about bringing an unknown creature of unknown alignment who evidently couldn't get to our world.
Hey, I mean, it's on me.
us.
At worst, it's neutral, and so am I. So, I mean, you know,
I don't know if
if
that's
it's just
true.
based on alignment because nobody has detect evil, it's.
I'm all for it. I mean, it'll make the game spicier, sure.
He's fighting these evil peacocks.
Are they evil?
The plan was to stay till we get our temporary hit points back, right?
You could do that. So
I
you
saw
stay
what
for
they
an
did to
hour.
our mercenaries.
You get your temporary hit points back, and you exit into the wood with this huge creature coming with you. One of your mercenaries is dead. All right,
We'll
so
bring him back, obviously, as well.
yeah, you take you get all your hit points, your temporary hit points back. If you've lost any other hit points, those are gone currently. Your charisma is back,
I'm gonna
but
use a cure light.
That's
Sorry.
mercy.
there are some things about. Let's see. I'm going to try to resolve this in the next few minutes. I don't know if it's okay if we go over if it happens. I'd like to.
Yeah,
see
it's
what
okay with
happens
me.
this. But the
Good.
when you come back, all of you notice that you have no shadow.
Uh-oh.
It's a shame none of us are thieves. That would have just been like a buff if we were thieves, right? Like,
I need you all to let me know at any point if you level up.
Oh.
And I'll try to watch for the other things that will happen. I'm not going to tell you.
That's great.
But you have no shadow. That's and I need you to let me know if you level up.
The 2 archpriests have their shadow.
Yep. That's a tough one.
yeah, Ox came back from the dead.
Where's he at? Ox. Well, anyways, all right. So you exit out. There's this hut. I think Solos, you can roll a d6. You don't want to get a 1. That would be really bad.
Yeah, well,
Get a 1. All right. Well,
Oh no.
the other world has done a number on me, it seems.
Your shadow had all your luck.
Yep.
Interesting. Do you? Does anyone have? Let's see. Does anyone have more than 4 hit dice?
More than
No.
4?
Yeah.
No, I have 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same. That's as high as it goes.
Most people have 4 hit dice. Yeah, about it.
I have
3
3.
of us have 4.
Okay.
Yeah, 3.
2 have
Yep,
3.
I have 3, yeah.
Fascinating. You hear
There are
cackling
also
from. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
war horses, which have hit dice, if that matters.
It does matter. You hear cackling from the hut, and all of a sudden the horses fall asleep. The 2 mules and 2 of your companions. They simply fall to the ground, sleeping.
Well, at least we have mercenaries for that.
I'm waking my horse up.
All right. Hey, you wake the horse up.
Slapping it.
Can we wake up the mercenaries?
Sure. What's the plan, Father Bloombad?
I mean, let's wake our animals up, in case this happens again.
Okay.
Does this lizard thing with us have a name?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's called Redramas or something like that.
Call it Ray.
Ray. Hey, Ray. Want to go burn that hut down for us?
I could burn the hut down.
That'd be great.
It does sound
Hey, hold on.
fun.
Let's make sure that you're not in too much danger first.
Oh, that's
Oh,
very
he's
kind.
fine. He's a big lizard.
Well,
Yeah, but Cerberus protects everyone he travels with. It's courtesy.
There could be important documents in there we don't want burned.
Has anyone heard anything about this hut?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I know nothing about it.
Oh, no, I don't know anything.
It's cackling and making people fall asleep.
Yeah, that's all we know.
all right,
To me,
Father.
that says there's a witch inside.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
witch inside, not the hunt.
Maybe some loot.
Witches.
Father Bloombad, what's the plan?
Let's
Bless us,
push
send
that.
us in.
Yeah, let's go.
I have a hold person spell, so let's.
Oh.
Yeah. Can I ask? Redramas if he knows anything about witches?
Witches.
Like, how does he feel about witches?
Ah, witch. I had to think. And he speaks in Yin. He's like, and he says like, midwife or, wise woman, and mother, and a few things like that. And he says these things in Yin. He's like, the Yinians, they had things something like that. They were very powerful. I have heard that they can pull on the strands of the other in all of its myriad ways, all of its facets, that they can understand things. But there are not many Yinians left, and they've been gone for some time.
Maybe we'll find one someday.
I
guess onward.
I certainly hope not.
Onward, Jeff.
What's the goal, Father Bloombad? I'm sorry, everybody was talking.
Let's push this hut.
Push the hut?
Yeah.
Like move up on it.
All right. Everybody moves up. And what do you do? Nothing happens.
Are there windows?
Either somebody go knock on the door or we have this thing burn it down.
We don't want to burn down the treasure.
Yeah, what if there's like a book in there?
I'm happy to just go and kick the door and go in if you want.
Yeah.
Give me a clear.
I mean,
view.
does it seem inhabited?
There's laughter coming from inside.
Yes.
Okay. I heard Kellic say it. Kellic, you go and you kick in the door. No, okay.
I proposed that to Bloombad.
All right.
He's the officer of the day.
Yeah, I said go ahead. Give me a clear view.
Oh, okay. Then we're going for it.
Okay.
I'll go up and I'll kick in the door.
All right. You kick in the door, and let's see. You immediately. Well, I guess I should. No, that math has to happen. So you immediately fall asleep as you kick in the door.
Sweet.
And
all right, who's next?
I knew we should have exercised some courtesy.
You hear a cackling, and you Solas, because you're standing here. So Solas sees this. Solas, you see. Let me bring it up here. You see a. I wonder if I can.
I'm just wondering if it's going to be a pretty witch or a hag kind of witch.
You
Probably
see
the hag kind.
I think it's an ogre mage.
this inside. Oh, actually, I did have it up. It looks like that.
Why do you think it's an ogre mage?
In fact, it looks
the
like
worst
that. Like all of a sudden, Kellic
Oh,
just
well,
falls asleep, and you're gonna hate me, Martin, but like this is what happens.
Go for it.
Solas, you have one chance to do something with this. As this person cackles, as she looks out and she sees that there's these people at her hut, grabs a hold of Kellick's leg and starts to drag him toward a mirror on the other side of the room. You have
Oh, this again? Oh, great.
I was going to cast Hold Person on her the second I seen her.
What's happening?
Solas is the only one that can act.
I'm not really sure what to do. But is she large?
She's very large.
Okay, I'm gonna try and jump onto the bitch and stab my sword into her shoulder blade.
Okay, I'll say.
You want us to jump onto a giant?
I'll say if you hit that will distract her from what she's trying to do with Kellick. So,
I mean, yeah, that's like, that's just a flat d20. So we'll see how it goes.
Misses.
Who knew?
Well,
But is she engaged in melee now, and therefore unable to move away?
Well, I'll make a second deal. Because she's in melee, he'll get a second attack because she's going to try to move away. Because that's...
there we go. Another flat d20. Come on, flat d20. Please.
You've rolled with advantage.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. Oh, that is much better.
Yeah, all right. You try to jump onto her, and she just she's dragging Kellick and laughing, and she takes you and off her back and throws you against the wall. And then you reach on the floor and grab your blade, and you just stab up into her mass as she's about to step into this mirror. She howls in pain, drops Kellick, looks back, sneers with this ugly smile, and then steps into the mirror. And then Kellick is...
Oh, no, you don't. I'm gonna go after her.
You're gonna go into the mirror?
Oh, well, does anybody tell me to smash the mirror? I don't know what else is going on.
No one's there, yeah.
On my turn, I snore.
Now, I will say, let me pan the camera over to everybody else. Meanwhile, what you all see is you see Kellick fall into the inside of this thing. You hear a thud, you hear cackling, and then you see Solas just run inside and you hear a scuffle. What is everybody else doing?
I mean, I was behind them. I
feel like we're gonna go inside.
I'm sorry, Heretic. What were you saying?
I was going up behind them. I wanted to cast Hold Person. Like I said, open the door, and I was looking in so I could cast Hold Person the second I saw someone.
Okay, you're gonna try to cast Hold Person on this thing entering the mirror.
Yes, if I could. I mean, that's what my intention was. I said, give me a view so I can cast.
Okay. I don't think you could have seen it from where you are, but I'll say that. Is that a save? How does that work?
Yes, it's a save, and if it's specifically at one person, they make it at -2.
All right. So that fails according to Swords and Wizardry rules. So and does this affect all hit dice? There's not any kind of
1d4 persons. According to the same parameters as Charm Person spell. Or completely immobilized, saving throw applies. Caster may also target a single person, in which case saving throw is made with a penalty of -2.
Charm Person.
Charm Person just says very little.
Bipeds of human size or smaller, so maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, that's key. That's what I'm talking about is because then you could do that, which I'm down with, if it says it, but
well, let me double check.
Then you can do it with a dragon and stuff, so that's why I'm...
No, a dragon isn't a person. It's meant for humanoid creatures.
Living bipeds of human size or smaller. I am sorry, but this thing is not even close to small. Although you do see it squeeze into this large mirror.
Okay.
Oh, I guess that's what Hold Monster is for. Wow, that's a really high-level spell.
All right.
Good grief.
Okay. And yeah, it disappears into this mirror. And then meanwhile, Solas, you said, no, you don't. And what do you do?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't really know what's going on. I chase it through the mirror.
Okay, I get to say this now. Are you sure you do that? That'll be...
I mean, I don't know. I'll wake up Kellick and start thinking straight.
All right. You wake up Kellick, and then meanwhile everybody else comes in. You see this. You see Kellick. Now, Father Bloombad, you were, other than Solas, the only person that saw this thing. Solas, you saw, what we described. Kellic, you just woke up. Everybody else, you see Kellic on the ground getting woke up by Father Bloom, or I'm sorry, by Solas.
What happened?
And yeah.
You were accosted by a giant, sort of ogreish witch thing. I dug my blade into her flesh, and it bleeds so we can kill it. I know that much. But it escaped through the mirror.
Through the mirror.
At this point, the large lizard is peering its head from the outside, and it says, "Oh, very good. I'm so glad that I found this." And he tears out a section of the wall, tears out a section of the stone wall, pulls himself into the room, and looks back at you all, and he says, "If anyone wants to follow me and continue our discussions, I'll be on the other side, but I've decided I don't like this world very much, actually. I think I'd rather return home for now. It's cold here. If you don't want anyone to come or go, though, you should destroy this mirror." And he pulls himself into the mirror as well. And when you look, you can see his reflection in the mirror, and he pulls himself into it, and then you don't see his reflection. And when you all look in the mirror, you don't see your reflection.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy. Do we follow
We
and
don't have any mages.
I think we should take this mirror and
think
then
we should
put it
smash
on the
it.
floor. No, if it's on the floor, how do you come out of it? Just sleep
we need
on
to
top
bury
of it. Oh.
We need to bury it.
well, one of Martin got pulled into the mirror, right?
No, she tried
Oh,
and was thwarted by
Oh, okay, good.
Solas.
Okay. Then yeah, let's just smash it.
Yeah, I think we should listen to the dragon thing.
Like, if we want to go get our shadows back someday, we might need this mirror. So if we dig a hole in the ground and put it in it, we can come back later and dig it back up.
There's that path in the woods, or it might not be there, I don't know.
Shadows are overrated.
Yeah, I got the dex to multi-class into thief, man. I'm just gonna take the buff. No, but I'm not thrilled by the prospect of having a portal that something like that could just walk back through any old time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what you all see inside of the hut. First of all, you have a hut that you can use to be warm before your journey back. You also know where there is a hut. You see that there is a large cauldron here with a selection of knives, a wooden table, an ogre-sized bed, and a large, elaborate silver mirror, as I've described. It's large, wide, tall. You think for the right buyer, it would be worth an immense amount of money.
Ooh.
You'll get the XP credit either way, don't worry.
And that's a portal to the other world.
But yeah, the last thing before we head home is, do you smash it, or do you keep it, or do you bury it, or what do you do with it? Or do you enter into it?
I smash.
When is this role-playing montage happen? Because can I just walk into the mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
That's my role-playing montage. I walk into the mirror and try and go after my dragon buddy.
All right.
And then, but I tell them to smash it before I go in. I say I'll be back, but I tell them to smash.
So you can absolutely do this. I do have to warn you, you will probably never come back, and that's fine. But
That's fine.
Okay.
Solus thinks he'll be back.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. What would you like us to do with your things in your absence?
What things? I don't have any stuff.
He gives everything to the poor every time he comes back because he's a ranger.
Your horse?
Yeah, so somebody can look after my horse. That's not really up to me now. I've just walked into a mirror.
Oh, I'm asking you before you step in what you would like us to do with your things. Just as like a last
Right.
estimate, because I don't know if you're coming back.
Yeah. I mean, give my war horse to the father, and yeah, he'll look after it.
Okay. I feel like we'll salute Solas before he goes then.
I mean, why don't we go sell this thing? I mean, the mirror isn't evil.
After we smash it?
No, let's sell it. I mean, the church needs gold.
Something can walk out of it on our way back.
I was going to say it's a portal to the other.
I would consider it the nobler act to destroy the dangerous portal to the Nether Realms.
What about
or
burying
wherever
it?
They are.
We don't smash this thing. It's going
We
to
start a
come back.
fire
Well-
outside. The earth will be soft by, after several, the next day when the fire goes out, the earth will be soft enough for us to dig. We bury it, then nothing can come through.
What if something comes out that can breathe dirt? I'm not ruling
Or
things like
just-
that out.
Climbs through the dirt.
We'll know where this is if we ever need to go there again. We'll be able to.
I grab some dirt and rocks and I throw it at the mirror. Does it bounce off the mirror or go through the mirror?
It would destroy the mirror. So before you do that, we'll meta.
Who's
We'll
dirt?
take the vote here. If you
Throwing dirt
touch
at it would destroy it?
if you throw dirt at it, to test it, right? Like you throw sediment, just tink tink. It's just like a mirror. But if you have the intention of entering the mirror, let me know. All right, let's vote so we can move on.
Bury it or sell it.
Bury it or sell it, and then
Destroy it.
destroy.
I vote to destroy it, and I will, if it would make Bloombad feel better, put some of my bounty for clearing out whatever this is when we take it back to Odo,
Okay.
to the church.
All right, and then
I was more worried about leveling up.
Caden,
Destroy it.
you
Might
get
get
the
experience for
XP.
destroying
I
it.
said you'll get the XP, so you're not going to not
Just
get the XP.
destroy it.
Okay. Chink! One of you destroys the mirror. The glass shatters everywhere. And whatever was in this hut now is not coming back, at least this way. What do you do with the hut?
Search it.
Well, that's all you find. But do you destroy
leave
it
it.
or do you leave it? For
It's
Leave it.
Perfectly
Stay
good
here.
hut.
it's missing a wall right now. We need to come back and repair it for it to be any good to anything
Alright.
other than animals anyway.
Yeah, that weird garden in the back, but yeah.
okay.
For now, we can take all our extra blankets and put them up over the hole, and we can stay here tonight, and then we wouldn't lose hit
Yeah.
points.
It gives you
That's a
a
thought. That's good.
warm place to stay, so you start the next day with all your hit points. You're able to journey back from there on the next day back to Zelkor's Ferry. When you come back, Odo is there. He says, Father Bloombad, you all made it back. Did you find anything out there?
Yes,
Oh?
a mirror that allowed a ogre witch to travel in between her dimension and here.
She is there. And you destroyed the mirror.
Yes, she has no way of coming back now.
I'll take your word for it. He hands you a big bag of gold. 500 gold for the group. Then it's done. Good work, Father Bloombad. He walks away. You all have, all but a few of you have survived your second trip to the other world. And you've made it back to the Bristleback Inn. Yeah, so that's where we'll end the session for the night.